is Strive to Thrive, and this is your weekly podcast designed to help improve your health, increase your success, and help you thrive in life. I'm Clarke Tanner, physical therapist, life coach, and also founder of Thrive Physical Therapy and Wellness in Richmond, Virginia.
My name is Cody Shellhouse. I'm a Thrive physical therapist as well. And today we're going to be discussing with you a little bit about something I've kind of personally dealt with, which is reviewing a year, right? So a year in review is kind of what we titled this podcast because it's getting close to the new year here now, and I've started to look back at some of the things that I've either accomplished, some of my goals that I set myself in 2018 for the 2019 year. And I got a chance to look at it. And I was actually quite pleased with all the stuff I've gotten done. And I realized in contrast, when I first got to that point, I felt like maybe I wasn't accomplishing as much as I originally perceived. And then I went back and kind of looked back at some of the things I set for myself. I realized that I accomplished a lot more than I originally expected. So I think this is a really important topic for people, just to maintain some of the excitement associated with making progress, progressing yourself, and then not always just looking toward the next new big thing that you're trying to accomplish, but taking time to revel in the fact that you have done a lot this year and that you have accomplished, a sizable amount of things.
I think that's very well said. And I think same thing for me. Like this is something I've done for a period of time, and as time has passed, I've learned some different ways to sort of make this process really helpful. And then at the end of the year to be like, wow, got a lot of things done, and I think you don't appreciate a lot of things. So, what's one of the reasons you think it's really important to actually physically look back? So maybe a place to start.
Well, I think, absolutely. So I like to think of myself as a pretty goal-oriented person. I think I look for the future. I tend to set goals, pretty lofty goals in advance that are usually pretty far extended, 2-3 months, maybe years and down the road. That tends to be my focus primarily. And I think when you're constantly looking forward, even though that does promote growth and that promotes you kind of moving in step-by-step direction, taking time to reflect on what you've already accomplished or taking time to give yourself the credit you deserve for what you've already done can just put you in a better mental state. I mean, it can make you kind of remember, why am I doing what I'm doing? Because life can seem like a treadmill where you're constantly running toward the next goal, but unless you take the time to see how many miles you've actually put on that treadmill, you're not really aware of where you're at. Time.
Yeah.
And so for me, that was huge. I got the chance to look at some of the goals that we've accomplished. In just the last year, I've become a fitness instructor. I bought a house. We've moved across the city and started a new life. And there's so many things that we've accomplished that I kind of see as a normal part of life that I don't really take time to give good credit to or to feel grateful for until you take a stance on that. And that's something that we employ here at Thrive a lot. And then Clarke started this with us. I'm really appreciative for that, is taking the time to kind of say what you're thankful for and talk about, where you've come from and where some of your successes have been. Yeah.
So a couple things on that very well said. So a few different things. One is it's been shown through research that one of the things that it adds to our happiness and feeling of contentment is feeling like you're making progress on things that really matter to you, right? So there's lots of things on a day-to-day basis that you alluded to that, we get busy in work, we get busy in family, we get all these different things that pull us in lots and lots of different directions. But if you kind of sit back and take the bird's eye view, and when you're setting goals, it's very important to, one, identify what it is that you really want. What are the things that really matter to you? And then kind of set a little bit of like, okay, here's my, it's like setting the GPS, right? Like where is it that you really, really want to go authentically for you? And then making sure that you structure things around making time for that and having habits around things that are going to move you towards that. And the gratitude piece is something that we practice at Thrive as part of each week. We talk about what we are thankful for. And then also there's a little bit of structure in terms of how to help use that to help yourself get better that week. And this for our company, it's designed really to try to help us as a company to identify what we want to accomplish, but also as individuals to identify what you're grateful for. Because what I find is if you don't take that time to sit back and think about what you're grateful for, then your mind is very preoccupied with just the normal challenges you get in the day, and then you don't really even cognitively, you don't know what you're thankful for.
Yeah.
Day goes, end of the day, you end up not learning anything, and you're not necessarily connected to what it is you're grateful for. So what they recommend, and this is success literature and lots of good stuff, that one of the most important things in terms of happiest people is if you can sort of formally take the time to, okay, what am I physically grateful for? What went well that, what am I, when you wake up, and then also at the end, you have to do it kind of repetitively, makes a huge difference.
Right. Yeah. So reflection is kind of the big key there. I mean, you have to take time to look at what you've accomplished, look at what you've done, not just be critical, but actually enjoy the fact that you're a thriving human being, and that you've done something with your day, and you've made some change in someone's life, and then you want to be appreciative of that. Because if you're never grateful for it, or you don't take the time to do that, it does feel like you're moving on to the next task, and it can feel like your progress is stagnant. So I think importantly, and something that Clarke and I both practice is that every morning when you wake up is a great time to do this, because it's a good precedence to start your day, is to take some time to write down a couple of things about different aspects of your life that you're truly thankful for. That may be family, that may be the activities you do, the opportunities you've had, maybe the relationships that you're in, and maybe anything. But take time to do that, because as you write positive things about the aspects of your life, and you take time to center your brain around a positive emotion that's affiliated with that part of your life, then you'll continue to think positively about it throughout your day. That really carries over well into your habits. It carries well over into your mood. It makes work seem a lot more enjoyable. It makes life seem a lot more enjoyable as well when you're just thinking about the right things. And we've kind of found taking the time to do that, it really needs to happen. You need to structure that time, because it's hard to do it when you're busy.
Yeah, very, very well said. So both of us use journals, where one of the things is at the beginning of your day and your end of your day, you come up with, you think of 3 things that you're grateful for, and it really does shape your mood. I have found that when I do that, I actually literally wake up in the morning knowing I've got to fill that out, and my brain immediately goes to, okay, what am I thankful for? Well, that is a good space to be in, and that your thoughts are what creates your experience, and the meanings you give to that. Taking the time to find something, really trying to okay, what do I feel around? What am I truly grateful for? You're having to look inside and figure out, what am I really grateful for? Well, that thought process creates a whole biochemical process that absolutely lifts your mood. And that's where you want to start. And then you try to end it at the end of the day, same thing. So
having that time, spending that time, and then sharing that with your family. Sharing that with people that you care about. One of the best ideas I've heard is, you write these things down and then spend time to tell people about this stuff. Not only will it make you feel better, but you can share that and spread that positivity to the people in your life that you also want to feel that way. Yeah. And they can kind of revel in that also. I think if everyone took a little bit more time to review what made them feel better, what made them feel happy, and then also some of the positives that we have in our life, in our country, and our and just what we experience, then we'll all feel a little bit better about where we are in this world, and it'll kind of make us continue to press forward. Yeah,
I think that's very well said. And I know when I first started doing, I had read it, I read the research, but I'd never really practiced it with. I consider myself an optimistic person, but I never really practiced it in any kind of formal way. So when I first started doing it, I didn't really understand the power of it, and then once I started to do it for a period of time, I was like, "There's no way I would give that up." It just makes it. It really does make a really, really huge difference to try to formally practice it on kind of a regular basis. And then the other thing is along those lines is at the end of the day, looking at what you're grateful for, but also what did you learn? And you stop, you take a few minutes to, okay, well, what did I learn today? And I find that you really are, when you stop and look at it, besides the grateful part is, what did I learn today? Well, I actually learned a lot when you start to look for it. But I find that if you don't physically start to look for it, well, the day goes and it's gone. And spending that time to really truly look for, well, what did I learn? Well, that helps you to, and then you write it down, or at least that's what I do in the journal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you write it down. Well, then that helps you to capture what you learn, right? So that your experiences that you go through life, your experiences you have, you are picking up insights. You are learning lots of things. It could be professionally, it could be personally, it could be whatever that is. We want to learn and grow. Well, that's part of a mechanism for what will help that and it helps you to not lose it, basically. And then again, that also is something that's kind of a trigger to be like, hey, I'm kind of thankful for what I learned. That's another thing.
Absolutely.
I think it's great. So
no, 100%. I mean, it really takes some kind of mental practice to learn each and every day. It takes people a long time to learn how to play an instrument. It takes people a long time to learn a language. We don't expect people to learn, you're going to retain a certain amount of information every single day. It'd be impossible to retain all of it. But at the same time, capturing those moments where you really did pick up something important, or you listened to someone, or you heard what someone was saying and you could make an emotional connection to that. It can just make you feel more present and make you feel like you're not, just living day by day, but you're really experiencing each and every day to your fullest. And, sharing that with people and then being present during those times, it requires a little bit of internal reflection. So.
Yeah. And subconsciously, the way that works is anything that is like on our mind that anything we're actively thinking about, like whether it's what am I grateful for, what did I learn, well, now your subconscious goes to work trying to find those things, and that affects your state through the entire day. It's like if you're buying a good way to explain it is if you start looking at, okay, I'm going to buy a new car and I'm looking at this particular type of car. Well, now all of a sudden you start to notice that car all over the place. Well, it's not that the car is suddenly there when it wasn't. It's that your subconscious has its orders. It knows what's going on. We're trying to look at this car. Well, okay, that's what you start noticing. And this is a way to sort of prime your subconscious to find things that really matter. So your Thrive Challenge will basically be for us. We want to promote you guys every morning you wake up. Try to spend time to at least write down one or two things that you're really thankful for from the night before or the day before, or also that you're thankful for going into the new day. And then at the end of your day, if you can write down something that you've learned and something that you're thankful for that happened that day, we've shown and we personally feel that that'll really improve your mood and just improve the way you feel about your relationships and things around you. So that's your challenge, to try to make that work for you guys. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to let us know. But in the most part, keep listening. This is your Strive to Thrive podcast. And thanks, you guys, for listening. Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. Go out there and put some of that stuff to use. So it works. Try it. Give it a go. It's worked for our team. It's worked for us personally. And I think once you start doing it, you'll be really glad you did. So thanks for listening, guys.